Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about retirement accounts and specifically the Roth IRA. But first, I have a question for you. Do you plan on living past the age of 59? If your plan is to die before the age of 59, then maybe you don't need a retirement account. But even in that scenario, any money you put in a retirement account, you could will to either a spouse or a child. So I guess unless you don't plan on living past 59 and you don't plan on having a spouse or a child, then you might be the only person who doesn't need a retirement account. But for everyone else, please watch this video. I'm going to try to explain to you the best I can why retirement accounts and the Roth IRA is the best investment you can make. As always, before we go any further, I am not a CPA, I am not a personal financial advisor. Do your own research. This video is for entertainment purposes only. First thing we have to clear up is the difference between a 401k and an IRA and a Roth versus traditional. So let's first talk about 401k and IRAs. These are both tax-advantaged retirement accounts, meaning you're not paying taxes on what you grow in this investment account year to year. So the difference is a 401k, that's just the government's fancy number for it, but this is offered through your employer. You must have a job in order to have a 401k. When they talk about jobs that offer benefits, they're usually talking about either a pension, health insurance, or a 401k plan. This is a big deal once you understand how useful it is. Usually in a company's 401 plan, you will receive a matching amount. If you contribute to your company's 401k, maybe they will match up to 3 to 5% or maybe even 10% of whatever you put into the account. These 401k accounts also have really high contribution limits. You can contribute yourself up to $19,500 a year to your company's 401k plan. Whatever your employer matches, that actually doesn't count towards the $19,500. Now, an IRA stands for Individual Retirement Account, and you personally, on your own, will open this with an individual private bank. And there is no matching amount. You're doing this on your own. No company or employer is going to help you out. And of your own personal money, you can put up to $6,000 a year into this account. Now, to explain the tax structure, we have to compare Roth versus traditional. Now, for both Roth and traditional, you pay no taxes on yearly growth. That is the tax advantage part of these retirement accounts. With Roth, you contribute post-tax money only. So you're agreeing to this year on your federal tax return, pay taxes on that income before you put it into your retirement account. Then when you retire after the age of 59 and a half, you can take out all the money in that account and it's 100% tax-free. And in a traditional tax structure, you're agreeing to take a tax break this year. On your federal taxes this year, you will be paying less in taxes. You will be saving money on all the contribution amounts that you put into a traditional retirement account. However, when you then go to retire at 59 and a half, any money you take out, you have to treat like new income and you pay taxes on that income. So let's go ahead and create a grid, 2x2, and we'll put Roth and traditional at the top. Once again, this is the tax structure of when you pay taxes, either upfront or at the end. And then we have the retirement accounts either through your employer, 401k, or on your own, IRA. And you can create the 4 options that are available. So with a Roth IRA, you can contribute up to $6,000 a year. You're paying taxes on that income now. In a traditional $6,000, however, you're getting a tax break this year and you're agreeing to pay taxes when you pull the money out. Roth 401k, the only difference between that and a Roth IRA is you might be getting an employer matching. However, the matching has to go on the traditional side. Ignore that for now. But you can contribute through payroll deductions. That's the difference. With an IRA, that's your personal money. But with a 401k, it gets deducted from your check from your employer. And you can contribute up to $19,500 a year. And then a traditional 401k, same thing, except it's payroll deductions, and then you're agreeing to pay taxes on it later when you retire. Now, something I need to clarify, and this is a little tricky, is that you can only contribute up to $6,000 a year between a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA, and up to $19,500 a year between a Roth 401k and a traditional 401k. If you were super gung-ho, you could technically have all four of these combinations. However, the contribution caps hold between Roth and traditional. You can only put $6,000 into whatever kind of IRA you have, and you can only put in $19,500 into whatever 401k you have. Meaning for this year, the current contribution cap for both of these accounts is $25,500 a year. The government does raise this amount year to year, so if you're watching this in the future, the contribution caps might have been increased. But why specifically is the Roth IRA so good? Why do people on YouTube and the internet and your maybe financial advisor talk about it so much? Let's cover the basics real quick and things you need to know. If you're under 50, you can contribute $6,000 a year. That could go up in the future. If you're over 50, you can contribute $7,000 a year. And this is a tricky part, but you must have earned income to contribute. If you don't have a job and you didn't earn any income the entire year and you're contributing $6,000 to an IRA, then the government basically thinks something nefarious is going on. So you need to have earned income within the year to be eligible to contribute for an IRA. If you don't, once again, the government thinks something illegal is happening. You can start withdrawing everything that you want at 59.5, and you have full control over your investments in the account. That's the big difference between a 401k and an IRA. In a company's 401k, you might not have control over your investments, or you might have a very limited option. In an IRA, you have 100% control over everything that happens at any time. So that's why an IRA has more versatility and better options for you than your 401k. And then finally with IRAs, it is income limited. If you earn more than $122,000 a year, the government is going to start cutting you off or restricting how much you can contribute. The reason why is because this tax advantage account is so good. They want to help ordinary working class people be able to retire in comfort and security. They're not trying to, which is I agree with, they're not trying to help rich people just become slightly richer using this account when they don't need the tax savings in the first place. Now, why is the Roth IRA so much better in my opinion than the traditional IRA? And the first one is you can take out your principal contributions at any time. What does that mean? If I were to contribute to my Roth IRA, the maximum amount, $6,000 a year for 10 years, I will have put of my own personal money $60,000 into this account. Now, whatever that principal earns in the account, that is the profit, and I can't touch that. However, the principal I can take out at any time. If in 10 years, for whatever reason, I just want that $60,000 taken out of my retirement account, I can do that. I've already paid taxes on the money, so the government basically views it as already mine. And you can do this if you wanted to maybe buy a property or start a business. It just gives you that option. It's basically like the ultimate savings account. However, there is some drawbacks. The first one is once you take the money out, you can't put it back in. Because there is a contribution limit per year, if you were to start taking out principal that you put in from the past, you're never going to get that time back. You're never going to get that principal contributions back. So it would hurt your retirement accounts if you were to do this. But once again, I love that flexibility that you do not get from a traditional IRA. I also have to tell you that if you were to some reason need to take out the profit from a Roth IRA, that is a terrible idea. You would pay a 10% penalty, plus you would then have to pay taxes on what you took out of the Roth IRA, which would defeat the whole purpose. So any profit that you earn in this account, definitely don't take that out until you retire at 59.5. Additionally, I can state as a matter of fact that in the post-World War II era, taxes today are at historic lows. I know everybody hates taxes, they love to complain about taxes, but this is a fact. The tax rate that Americans pay today at the federal level is the lowest it's been since World War II. And without getting too political, guys, this is not sustainable in my opinion. If I'm putting money in a retirement account that I'm going to pull out in 30 or 40 years, I just don't think what the government has been doing the last 20 years is sustainable, continuously rolling out these series of tax cuts while simultaneously increasing spending. We're running up huge deficits, and at some point there's going to be a reckoning. And in my opinion, taxes in the future will go up. So when you contribute to a Roth IRA and pay taxes on your income now, that is a guarantee. That is a lock. You're saying, I agree to pay the taxes today. Whereas if you were contributing to a traditional IRA, whatever the tax structure, tax rates will be in 30 or 40 years from now, that is the tax amount that you're agreeing to pay, which I don't think will be lower than it is today. Additionally, agreeing to pay taxes today might be a good idea because most people get more tax breaks when they're younger and working. They either have children they can claim as dependents, or they can deduct the interest on their home mortgage. When you're retired, you're not going to have as good of tax breaks, in my opinion, so you probably will be paying a higher tax rate later in life. Additionally, the great debate between traditional and Roth is if you're a high income earner now and you expect to have lower income in the future, traditional is better. But why would anyone ever plan for that? Why would anyone plan to retire poorer or earning less income than they are now? I understand that happens. I understand that is completely reasonable. I just personally will not choose to plan my life that way. When I reach my 50s, 60s, 70s, I want to be rich. And I know I can do that by having an IRA, 401k, collecting Social Security, maybe rental income, maybe owning a small business, or even working part-time as a consultant or whatever. So in my opinion, my tax rate is going to be much higher in the future. And if I contribute to a Roth IRA today, I'm guaranteeing that the income I pull out will not be counted against me, taxed at a higher rate in the future. So for all those reasons, in my opinion, I think the Roth IRA is better than a traditional IRA. Maybe I didn't convince you, that's fine. It's a healthy debate amongst financial planners, so it's up to you if you want to go Roth or traditional. The next piece of confusion we have to clear up is that a Roth IRA is not the investment. Just because you put money in your Roth IRA doesn't mean anything's going to happen. A Roth IRA, a retirement account, is just like a checking account or a savings account. You put money into it, you then have to do something with that money. And once you fund your account, you can do all kinds of things, such as buying stocks, bonds, commodities, ETFs, mutual funds, index funds, crypto. You have full control. If what I just told you there overwhelmed you, then I'll go ahead and give the advice that I always give on this channel, in that the best, most diversified investment you can make that will earn the highest yield over time is an S&P 500 index fund. I talk about it a lot on my channel, but basically when you buy an index fund that tracks the S&P 500, the 500 largest companies in America, you're just saying, I don't know which stocks will be winners or losers, so I'm going to buy a proportionate share of all of them, and then whatever the entire market appreciates over time, I am locking in that percentage. And the S&P 500 the last 90 years has done fantastic. When you look at the long-term average, what is the return with dividends reinvested with capital gains, the S&P 500 has averaged 9.8%. Now, of course, because that's what it has averaged the last 90 years, that is no guarantee. How will it do in the next 20 or 30 or 40 years? I can't predict the future. However, I like this track record. I like this investment strategy. There will be good years where the S&P 500 will be up 30%. There will be bad years where the S&P 500 is down 30%. But I am confident that if I invest in the S&P 500 for the next 20 or 30 years, I can get close to 9.8% a year. But how do you specifically invest in an S&P 500 index fund? I highly recommend when you open your Roth IRA, you either go with Vanguard, Fidelity, or Charles Schwab. All three of these are excellent options that have no account minimums, no hidden fees. They are all well-established banks that will be here in 20, 30, 40 years in the future. And the S&P 500 index fund, you can either buy the mutual fund version. For Vanguard, it's Vivifax. They also have ETF versions, VOO. You can Google these in order to learn more about them. Just make sure that when you select these funds, you always reinvest dividends. And let's go ahead and do the math on how powerful a Roth IRA on its own can be. Let's say that you were to open an IRA with Vanguard, and at 30, you started contributing, and you maxed out your contributions $6,000 a year, every year for 30 years. You can use a simple compound interest calculator to figure that out, and you would have $1,043,000. So there you go. You would be a millionaire if you just, for 30 years, bought S&P 500 index funds and maxed out your IRA contributions. But $6,000 is a lot, so let's go ahead and reduce that. Let's say you only put in $100 a month. Now, $100 a month isn't that much. I mean, personally for me, I probably spend more than $100 a month on Magic the Gathering cards. So if there's something in your life that you can cut out, you know, Starbucks, unnecessary trips to Target, whatever, if you can find $100 a month and you can put it in your Roth IRA, let's say Fidelity, and you invest in the S&P 500 index fund, starting at age 20, over a 40-year period, you would have over $500,000. If you're bummed that you're not a millionaire on $100 a month, well, then you can just give it more time. So let's say that you were on the ball, age 18, you started your Roth IRA, you contributed $100 a month, which once again is not that much, and you invested it for 47 years. So from age 18 to age 65, you retire in 2067, boom, congrats, you're a millionaire. And this really is the secret to retiring wealthy and building generational wealth for your family. It's not just the IRA. It's a combination of many things. Your IRA, your 401k, owning a home or owning other properties, starting a business, obviously collecting Social Security when you're retired, and then maybe a private brokerage account. These are all different combinations in addition to others where you can make smart investments and build wealth over time. Okay guys, I hope you learned something in this video, or I convinced you to open a Roth IRA today. It's free and probably takes only a couple minutes with one of those 3 companies. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up so the algorithm knows it's good. In addition, consider subscribing to my channel. I post very often about finance topics, and if you have any questions or comments, leave me one down below. I love hearing from you guys. And until the next video, take care.